We're about to show you 10 things pickleball pros do differently than you and I. But the best part is, we're going to show you how to apply it to your game right now at any level.
So let's go through the 10 essential tips that pros use in their game right after you subscribe. Let's do this.
Starting at number 10 on the list, it's all about drives. More and more pros are choosing to drive their shots rather than drop. As you advance in pickleball, better players are able to attack anything except the perfect drop. That means that a drive can actually be a safer choice over a third shot drop. The reason why is because of what the shot sets up. A solid ball to your opponent's body can lead to an easy fifth shot drop or even an early pop-up. So a pro-level drive is all about making your fifth shot attackable or easier to advance to the kitchen line.
But that doesn't mean a third shot drive is about getting an early winner. One of the biggest mistakes players make is trying to win the point outright with a third shot drive. By adding too much power or going for too tight of an angle, you give up consistency with the shot. Plus, most high-level players are able to counter even the best of drives. That's why it's important to be forward-thinking in every point. Pros aren't just thinking about the shot they're currently hitting, they're planning their next move right after it. Apply this to your drives and set up a fifth shot or seventh shot rather than trying to take a shortcut.
For tip 9, you've probably watched pros rally at the kitchen for what seems like an eternity. They not only dink consistently, they know how to get back in the point even after an aggressive play. Let's break down a tool pros are using to recover in a dink rally. It's called the slice push dink. Picture yourself at the net and your opponent sends an aggressive dink that pushes you out wide. This is where the slice push dink comes into play. The goal is to slice the ball with just enough backspin to make it difficult for your opponents to attack, buying you time to move into a more advantageous position. Without the shot, you're forced to lift up the ball, which can lead to a smash. That's why learning this shot is crucial.
To perform the slice push dink, position your paddle below the ball at impact, ensuring a high to low motion. Imagine you're brushing the backside of the ball, adding a spin that causes the ball to float softly over the net, landing gently in the opponent's kitchen. Backspin will keep the bounce low and less predictable. It forces your opponents to pause, reconsider their next move, and often results in a less aggressive return. This momentary shift in pace allows you to regain your position where you can dictate the rally with more authority. Try it out for yourself and stay in every rally longer. Next up, have you ever wondered why a pro looks so much more athletic in their matches than your average player? That's mostly due to one simple thing: footwork. Footwork is one of the most common reasons players make errors, but it's also one of the most misunderstood aspects of the game. It's not about running faster, it's about using the right technique for every situation.
So let's go through one of the most important aspects of footwork that you can implement right now: the split step. A split step is a way to get ready for any shot coming your way. The way to do this is in the name itself: approach your targeted court position and split your feet apart. A split step stops your momentum after sprinting to a destination. This lets you get low and ready to take off at any angle towards an incoming ball. Without a split step, your momentum will carry you in a direction and you'll be fighting that force whenever you change directions. So try split stepping right before your opponent makes contact with the ball to get ready.
Let's focus on forward momentum for tip number 7. After a pro returns a serve, they advance to the kitchen line immediately. This lets them take the offensive as soon as the point begins and put pressure on their opponents. You might be thinking that they can do that because they're fast or more athletic than everyone else, and though that's part of it, the key mostly lies in their footwork and paddle preparation.
Let's break it down so you can do it too. It's tempting to stand way back on a serve and give yourself as much time as possible to hit a strong return. But we're going to challenge you to actually get closer instead. One of the biggest factors to decide how fast you get to the kitchen line is how early you hit the ball off the bounce. Instead of letting the ball bounce up and then arch back down, we want to catch it on the rise. When you do this, you take away time from your servers to prepare and allow yourself to cover less distance to the kitchen line.
Here's how to make it happen. Stand closer to the baseline and get ready. As you read the serve and move toward it, step into the ball off the bounce and use a compact swing to make early contact. Add a slight upward motion to generate topspin and carry your momentum through the shot. Your goal here is to hit the ball deep into the court and let your forward momentum carry you towards the kitchen. With some practice, you'll be advancing faster than ever. Just know that this shot takes precise timing and is way more difficult to master. If you're facing a very strong server, it might not be your best option. In most cases though, this is the best way to gain ground.
We're working our way up to number 6, and it's another big movement technique from pros: shuffling. Shuffling allows high-level players to stay balanced and chest forward while moving horizontally. It also makes their recovery even quicker after they hit a shot. To shuffle, it's pretty simple. Get low, face forward, and move by pushing off with one foot and bringing the other foot over horizontally to start over again. Shuffling isn't unique to pickleball, so you might have already learned it from other sports like tennis or soccer. The key is to stay stable throughout the entire movement. Once you reach your target destination, you will already be balanced and ready to bend in any direction to reach the ball. After you make your shot, return to the chest forward position again and start over. Try shuffling whenever you're at the kitchen line or after a split step, and you'll be far more stable on the court.
It's time for number 5. One of the most important ways to take your game to the next level is by dominating the net. Professional pickleball players are not just dinking consistently, they're taking control of the point. A great way to accomplish this at the kitchen is to hit more aggressive dinks. Push your dinks deeper and at tougher angles with each shot. You are trying to get your opponents to take a step back and give up their position at the net. This forces more pop-ups and opportunities to attack. To hit these kind of dinks, you need to hold your line. Take balls out of the air when possible and focus on keeping the ball low. Apply your shuffling footwork from earlier and you'll be able to stay in control throughout the rally. But be careful not to let the ball get too high. It's easy when trying to hit deeper to instead lift the ball too high. But with enough practice, you'll find the right balance and dominate the kitchen.
For tip number 4, if you watch a professional match, you'll notice that partners are always moving even when they're not involved in the rally. That's because the best pickleball players in the world understand that court coverage is not just about covering your zone. It's about adapting to the situation alongside your partner. So let's go through how to cover the court correctly as a team. In doubles, your movement on the court should be coordinated. Imagine you and your partner are tethered by an invisible line, maintaining an optimal distance that allows for seamless court coverage while avoiding gaps that the opponent might exploit. This synchronized movement ensures that whether the ball comes down the middle or to the extremes, one of you is always in a position to make a strong play.
So if you find yourself worrying about that middle line of the court, just pretend it doesn't exist. Doubles is not about staying on and covering your half of the court, it's about moving together to cover the current situation. Tether yourself to your partner and move as one. This also applies when you're dropping the ball. Avoid rushing into the kitchen ahead of your partner and instead, follow your partner's lead to approach the kitchen. Moving up too early leaves a hole on the court for your opponents to take advantage of. The only time to override this rule is when your partner signals for you to move up early for a play like a shake and bake.
We're into our top 3 tips now. Mentality is a huge factor for becoming a top athlete, and one of the best mental skills is patience. A pro understands that setting up an attack takes time. When you're facing high-level players, there's less errors in their game, which means longer rallies. To still come out on top, you have to stay patient until the right moment. It's actually pretty simple to apply in pickleball because almost always we are punished for it. Speeding up too early or trying to hit a shot with a low chance of going in rarely sees good results. Instead of moving on mindlessly to the next point, make a note every time you didn't stay patient. It's usually pretty obvious. By simply reflecting on the error, you will gradually reinforce the art of patience in your game. That way, next time you're tempted to speed up early, you'll remember your result last time and not repeat it.
Number 2 is a must-have. Pickleball pros use different weapons in a match, but one stands out as unique. It's a shot that only occurs in pickleball and allows you to attack a ball that's dropping below the net. It's the backhand roll. The motion adds heavy topspin, which causes the ball to dip into the court faster, making it difficult for opponents to return with an aggressive shot. In a game where maintaining pressure is key, being able to attack a drop with your backhand is crucial. So let's show you how to do it. First, stand in a ready position with your paddle back and your body turned slightly, ready to pivot. Then, as the ball approaches, prepare your paddle at a lower angle to ensure you brush up against the backside of the ball. You'll have to get low to the court for this shot to work. Make contact with the ball in front of your body, ensuring you're hitting the lower half of the ball to generate topspin. After making contact, follow through upwards with your paddle, rolling your wrist to accentuate the topspin. When done correctly, the ball should arc back over the net and at your opponent's feet. This will take some getting used to, but once mastered, you'll keep your opponent's back with every roll.
The number one skill that separates pros from the rest of us is their pickleball IQ. Professional pickleball players can calculate 3 things in a split second. First, they identify what shot their opponent is about to hit. Next, they decide what kind of shot they want to counter with. And finally, they decide how best to position themselves to make that happen. Of course, this can take thousands of hours of match experience to master, but there are a couple tips that will help you play smarter, faster. One of the easiest tips to learn and take your IQ to the next level is watching your opponent's paddle. When they raise it, for instance, they are preparing to hit down on the ball. This is usually a sign of an attack or volley. When their paddle lowers, they are doing the opposite instead. They plan to hit up on the ball, which translates to a more defensive shot. So we can take that knowledge and decide how to counter. When that paddle goes up, that means it's time to block or reset the point. If the paddle is low, we can prepare to dictate the point either through a speed up or an aggressive dink. Once you're decided on your shot, position yourself to make it happen. If you're expecting a speed up, for example, get low and prepare to reset. If you're expecting a defensive shot, move in and attack. Try out this simple method and you'll be predicting like a pro in no time.
Now you know what it takes to be a pro and apply it to your game right now. Subscribe to our newsletter for even more pro level tips on a regular basis.
And check out this video to learn even more pickleball tips.